give it a little English at the end. See, I'm gonna cut it off and that'll throw it out there away from my rope. See that? Timing. Totally dialed. T542i XP. Evidently this Husky chain is the same as the Oregon Nano. It's just rebranded or something. And the only difference between the old 540, which I really like, and the new is supposedly that this now has a clutch and perhaps not an electronic brake. Anyways, I'm gonna try this out today. I'm back on this property where the guy, he painted my truck, and I'm sort of working off the work he did for me by cutting down some unwanted trees. 2 of them over here. One of them I did yesterday. The next one, they both are interfering with his reception. And then while I'm climbing this tree and having the quiet solitude of a battery saw, I'll talk to you about a comment I got on one of my videos. Oh, what's this? Little decay there, huh? Didn't see that. Pines are down in a swamp there. It's really wet around them. It's kind of surprising they haven't uprooted. Working alone again today, so it seems like I'm just walking up this tree, but I look around while I'm doing stuff. I look at this lock and I look at this gate, and I just kind of try to stay aware of the things that are holding me up here. That's a really good analogy for life in general. I didn't even tell anybody where I was going this time, so good day to be very deliberate. One thing cool about this phone case is if I had a problem, I could instantly call. It's like I think of my phone as a first aid kit. It's like it's an ambulance in your pocket. First cuts. Wow. Okay. It feels a lot more sort of like a chainsaw than a regular battery saw. It's because it's got the clutch, it feels kind of like what you might be used to running a saw all those years previous to battery tech. Cuts through pine like butter, that's for sure. In a minute here, I'll pull up this comment that I thought was kind of interesting and read it to you, and then try to answer it as I work here. My favorite benefits to the electric is not having to start it. I push the button, I don't have to pull it, I don't have to adjust it except for the chain. And I like that I can talk to you while I work. I don't drown my own conversation out with gas power. Boy, the old shoulder is really sore today. Feeling like it needs to pop, but it won't. Stay off my rope. This one I'll just... Did you hear that sound? That little metal on metal sound? I was flicking the piece. Sometimes you can flip your chain right off the bar by flicking the piece away with the tip, especially on those carving bars, the pointy, like the Panther ones. So I don't really want to be doing that today. I don't want to flip my chain off the bar being up here. I did bring a bar wrench with me just in case I did, but it is so handy to flick things, but the chain is spinning and it can allow the piece of wood a little toe hold under the chain, and since the chain is moving, it can just roll it right off the tip. And you know, remember how when you're a kid you put your bicycle chain on? You didn't have to loosen the whole thing up, you just get the chain started and then pedal forward. Well, that same magic that happens to get your bicycle chain on is the dark magic that gets the chain off your bar when you get something up underneath it and the chain's moving. So it's like pedaling itself off when it's under power, and it just rolls the chain right off the tip. I'm tempted to try to do it for you just so I can show you how it happens, but I don't want to deal with it. Did you hear that? So I'm playing dangerously. That little right at the end there, that was getting close to rolling the chain off. Now, if I flick this piece off and I use the power head, like down deep in here, then I'm less likely to roll the chain off, watch. So if I cut this straight off, it can go down and land on my rope, but if I give it a little English at the end, see, that won't roll the chain off because I'm not doing it with the tip of the bar. This one I'm going to cut it. It's over my rope for sure. But this one, you've seen me do it 1,000 times if you watch my channel. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to get it swinging on a hinge right here. And then when it gets over there, I'm going to cut it off, and that'll throw it out there away from my rope. See that? Timing. This saw is definitely heavier than my little 2511 that you saw me using yesterday. That thing is just such a beautiful lightweight machine, but I didn't have the idle adjusted yesterday and I was constantly having to restart it. So I think I have it adjusted now, and maybe I'll take it up a tree here today or tomorrow. There's a dead one over. Here's a dead one. And maybe I'll show you whether I had success getting the thing adjusted properly. Here's a little behind the scenes kind of advice. Let me show you something I do. So when I'm shooting video and I see an opportunity to get some footage that's not just helmet cam footage like this, it gets a little bit monotonous. I look for places to put a camera that are stationary or semi-stationary near where I'm working. And so like I've got, you know, 3 or 4 limbs here that I can cut off, and if I wanted to show you that and have it be from a different perspective, Well, then I just reach back here and I get this clamp. Then I put you on this clamp thing. There. Now I've got you sort of up here magically with me, kind of autonomous. And you'll get to see a little bit of work. I'll have to come back and retrieve you, but it's kind of cool for making a video less monotonous from one perspective. I got that limb hung up. Down boy. Oh, right on my rope. Now I gotta come back for you guys, or you'd be left behind. I could leave you there. Go up there and cut some weight off this way so that I can tip a bigger top that way. Let's do that. I won't be able to talk to you as much along the way because you'll be down here. But it's kind of a cool camera perspective, I think. These are the kind of things you can do when you make a channel and you're trying to showcase your workflow. Just have fun with it. So you see what I did there? I not only took the weight off the back, which was fighting me a little bit, well, a significant amount, but I put some of the weight that was here out there. I hung it up on the side where I'm going to send it. So there's more limbs going that way above there where I stopped, but the work I've done down here by leaving what I want and by adding to what I want, I should be able to tip it right out there. And if it doesn't tip on its own, I'm more likely to overcome it with pushing than I would if I hadn't taken those steps. Pulling on those limbs kind of put the pain on my back in one of those places where it's never going to be the same again. Totally dialed. That's the thing that most climbers look forward to right there. It's kind of like surfing. Not that I'm a surfer, but I understand that they do a lot of paddling in order to get to the ride. So this is from Brother Jay, it says. August, been watching your channel since I started climbing and I've learned so much from you. Thank you for all the shared wisdom. I was wondering if you could possibly do a video and give us some advice on longevity in tree climbing. I'm only 5 years in the trade and already dealing with some hip and back issues. I've found some solutions that are working, but I'm curious if you have any wisdom to share so we can keep climbing as long as possible. Thanks for great content over the years. Okay, Jay, Brother Jay. In order to answer this, I would probably put it in categories. The first part there, he's asking me about longevity, which, if you knew where I'd been, it's practically a miracle. It is many miracles probably, that somebody would talk to me about longevity in a tree, because I had some accidents and I had to survive through mishaps created by me and mishaps of learning or just not knowing things in order to get the longevity. So in a way, I didn't come by my longevity virtuously. So category number one is, I feel like the highway might be too loud. Category number one, I guess it would depend on your worldview or your spirituality, but would either involve good luck or prayer, provision. I like to think of it in terms of favor. So not that I really deserve any awesome treatment or anything, but I feel like I have been given favor. So many things have worked out to my benefit. Anyway, if you can't subscribe to that, then you need to be lucky, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, don't hammer your body outside of work. That's another rule I violated early on, is I hammered my liver and I hammered my body parts having fun, doing daring feats and drunken disasters, doing things I shouldn't do, and it would be too much information to say it, but take care of yourself. Don't party too hard, okay? Kind of listen to that little nagging, if you have one, that little Jiminy Cricket that tells you, maybe I should go home. Maybe this group I'm with is up to no good, or maybe this is a bad time to be in this place, or whatever. So I know that's kind of like a big picture view, but it's legit. I kind of calmed down in my late 20s, 29 to be specific, and I think because of that, at the pace I was going, I would probably have no liver yet left, or I would have something that would keep me out of what I want to do, which is this right here with you, and raise a family. You know, that's a big benefit. So the second category, I guess what I'm trying to say would be take care of yourself. You know, start out with as good of a blank slate as you can. If you think of yourself like as a tin can, a tin can still works pretty good if it's got a few wrinkles in it. You can smash it in on the side and pop it back out again. You can endure some bumps and stuff. But if you crush that thing, if you stand on it and tap the sides and you crush it, then your potential has been drastically changed. So watch out for drastic potential changing choices. So number 3, I think, would be equip yourself good. Get yourself, if you're going to an uncomfortable place, if you're going to the top of a tree or out in the middle of the Bering Sea or wherever it is that you have to go into battle, you want good gear. And if you try to scrimp and save and buy crummy gear, then you're going to make yourself miserable, and when you're miserable, your mind's not going to be in it, and you could damage yourself. So equip yourself. You know, go ahead and if you know what you want to do, if you know what your vocation is, if you're called to it, man, get yourself some good stuff. I got a new chainsaw today. I got a lot of chainsaws, but I wanted one in between the top handle and the 500i, because I'm getting older and I want to cut these stems down, and I don't want to carry the extra weight if I don't need to. Well, I'll show it to you. I got a new saw. It's pretty cool. Equip yourself. Was that number 3? Number 3 also covers, this is going to sound a little dodgy, a little sketchy of me to mention, but all those years that I had poor back support in climbing harnesses, pretty much no back support, just about a 3.5 inch wide piece of webbing, or 3 inch, not good. There's a lot of choices to choose from with good back support for climbing harnesses now, and I'd say get yourself a harness with big back support, something that supports you well in the tree. Also, don't be old dog new trick. If an old guy shows you his climbing style, and it's just spurs and a flip line. Talk to somebody else. There's a place for being real comfortable with spurs and a flip line. It's definitely good to get comfortable there too, but get into some SRT. That's stationary rope technique. That's moving up the rope and not up the tree, because the trees change diameter and stuff. And if you get real good at climbing rope with all the gadgets we have nowadays, you're going to save your body by using the large muscle groups of your legs, you know, your glutes, your hams, your quads. And when you use those larger muscle groups instead of the smaller muscle groups of your upper body, like how I've done most of my work, and I heard this from Reg Coates and it made a lot of sense. SRT allows you to use larger muscle groups to gain height over some pretty funky and unusual growth on the stuff you'll be climbing. It allows you so many more options than DRT. I use both. For a job like this, I don't need to go SRT. The guys who do it all the time find themselves doing it more often than any other thing. Next, and I lost count, I don't know which number this is, maybe 4. Is this 4? Next, I would say do something that you enjoy. If you stop enjoying it, find a way to make it enjoyable if possible. Don't pick a vocation. If you have the luxury of picking a vocation, do something that you enjoy doing. That goes back to the equipment. If you have good equipment, then shoddy gear won't take away from doing what you need to do in a streamlined way. But find something you like to do and do it. If it's tree climbing, I kind of got tired of it. I got wore out and beat up, and I was constantly a hitman for other companies, and I was building other people's empires. And then GoPro came out, and it sort of revitalized my interest in climbing, because then it wasn't just me and the tree, me and the job. It was something I could share. And there's a principle there. When you have a good thing or a bad thing, it's better for you if you share it. So if it's a bad thing, if you have some burden of loss, then when you get with a group and you get around people who understand, then they'll help you share that burden of loss, and it's a healthier way to live. Now, if you have a good thing, if it's time to celebrate, if you're happy, and then you take that happiness and you bottle it up and share it, which is what I think I'm doing with YouTube, then it hits you in the heart more. And so when your heart is happy, when your spirit is up, I think the bones and the sinew and the flesh and the circulation and all of these things that you need physically to have are going to be healthier. And then 5, I think it's 5, would be I need to do conditioning aside from tree work. So a lot of times people would say to me over the years, I bet you don't have to go to the gym or whatever after they see you work hard. But this work wears you down when you do the same things over and over and over. You can end up with repetition of movement causing parts to wear out. So get into some conditioning, eat well, and do some kind of exercise, even if it's a small amount. Don't ruin a plan by making it too big and having it peter out. Do a small thing and be consistent with it. And I think that's why I'm still here at 57, even after all those injuries. And if I hadn't got on some kind of regimen to build up all the little miniature muscles inside my core, I wouldn't be able to climb even today. Like, I have issues in my lower back that will possibly end my career at some point. But if I keep doing the exercises that I'm doing, and maybe I'll show them to you in another video for people who are interested in back. And this guy's talking about his hip and back. And yeah, for me, it's my lower back, it's my hip all the way down to my foot. It's being numb and stuff. So if I didn't stay on this regimen of physical fitness and proper food intake, I couldn't come here and do this. I have good days and bad days, but at least I have days in the trees. Thanks for asking the question. I hope it was helpful to some. I think it will be to some. To others, it'll be way too much talking, and that's okay. I understand that everybody is somebody else's weirdo, but I am coming to you from a spirit of sharing here. I used to shy away from talking, you know, just wanted to show you the action, more of a watch this than listen to this. But people keep asking, and so I'm gonna speak up if it sounds like an interesting question to answer. And I appreciate the opportunity. I really enjoy the feedback I get, both in the comment section. I can't say I enjoy it all the time, but I enjoy it most of the time. I enjoy it at the trade shows when I bump into people who talk about what they've learned and how it's benefited them. And I've even broke into tears a couple times, especially with regard to sobriety. People talking about me inspiring them to be sober, and they're asking me what it was that made me get sober. And when I go there, I don't expect it, but it can be kind of a tearjerker sometimes. So anyway, too much words. You guys, thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit me up with questions, and no promises, because yeah, I might flake out if I make you a promise, but when I can, I'm gonna be here, and as long as I can, I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna take you with me. Flat. By the way, if you're in the comments and you're an old, salty, experienced person in any occupation, go ahead and chime in and add to what I said if I forgot something. I'm sure I did. Flat. That one, I opened it up a little bit more and made a deeper notch. All of these flatnesses that you look for are kind of case by case. You get them mostly by experience, by playing around with it. And you know, there is scientific input you can get on it, like the 1/5 rule, but more so than that, the 1/5 rule is that 1/5 of the tree should land flat with a standard notch. Well, you're not always 1/5 up the tree, and you still want it flat. So that means by varying the notch depth and how it holds on, like for example, sometimes you want it not to hold a bit. You want to cut in on the sides and have it lean clean. Sometimes you want it to hang on a little bit, not so much that it shakes you into the next dimension, but some to get it to turn. And sometimes I'll do that with a low back cut, and it kind of pulls out and it cams over right here, and I'll get more rotation out of it. There's a bunch of little tricks, but this video ain't about that. So some of my Bible thumper Christian friends won't like that I didn't get on my soapbox and try to save the world. And don't misunderstand, my faith is in God, and the person I refer to as favoring me is him, and I believe that, but I understand that that's not for everybody. And I think my belief is that he'll get your number whether you want him to or not. He's gonna get what he wants, and I believe that he wants you. So I don't have to go preachy about it. I don't have to go door knocking, and I don't have to use this opportunity to try to convince you of anything. I have confidence in God, so that's where my confidence lies. So hopefully that makes some of my Christian friends who think I should preach more, hopefully they'll understand that. I try to be all things to all men, you know. Not everybody likes to be assaulted with something, even if it's from a point of view of sincerity. Oh, I just thought of another one. Let's call it 6. And that is delegate. Use a support structure of human beings. Find trustworthy people. And that'll open up a whole nother question. How do you find trustworthy people? Well, let me just say this. Treat them really well. People will want to be around you. So that's not saying that if you don't have good help at the moment that you've been a troll to everyone. It just is saying that recognize the talents of people, pay them handsomely for it, love them, and then you'll have a team. And that team, like, then you don't have to do everything. And that team needs to be varied. I need somebody that can do my taxes. Somebody that loves crunching numbers. That'll never be me. And I got a good person for that. And they make me look good. They make me look organized. They make me look responsible. I am none of those things. But because I am smart enough to rely on other people, I don't try to micromanage my whole little world and run around trying to control everything. Then I end up looking better. And yeah, I don't get to take credit for it because I got people helping me. But who cares? At least things are working well, you know? Yeah. So many company owners. Oh, let me show you the saw really quick. I bought the MS-261C, which is an M-Tronic thing. I had them take the stock chain off of it. It was a homeowner chain. And I had them put on a proper, this is a full comp chain. I had them put on a proper chain. The full comp, it doesn't have the homeowner rakers on it. In other words, there's less drag. So this is what I got, and I got this so that I can do medium. I used to brag. I go from a 200T to a 046. I don't need nothing in between. Well, now I kind of do. I kind of need something that ain't as heavy. Come on. For these times where I don't need all the power and the longer bar. I was talking about company owners that they get stuck in this, you know, the saying, if you want something right, you got to do it yourself. Well, they'll take that to heart. These guys will take it to heart. Got to do everything yourself if you want it done right. And they're kind of the types, I'm not saying they're evil or nothing, because I definitely had to overcome it myself. Maybe I was evil, I don't know. But I think I was more into being right than I was into loving anybody. So I'd get grumpy really quick if things weren't exactly how I wanted them, and then I'd jump in there and I'd be doing it myself, you know. But I would be doing it from an attitude of I'm right, watch this. Well, no one cares. If you're that kind of a dude, I don't know how to use this saw. It's the first time I've started it. if you're that kind of person and you think they're gonna care that you showed them how to do some little detail really well, and you're kind of mean the whole time, yeah, you're just doing it in your own head. You're a legend in your own mind, so let go of that. Let go of that and delegate to people that you respect, because there are other people in the world that know stuff and do stuff good, okay? It leaned out there, and he's got a PVC line there, so I had to put it where it didn't want to go, and I needed it to go just to the left of that stump, otherwise it would have been kind of violent.
Hey guys, Sam here with monkeybeaver.com. Just want to show you our latest custom rope bag. This is August's new rope bag. He asked us to make one for him, and I decided to take all the fabric bits that we have left that he's been playing with over the years and make him his own rope bag. So these first two here are some of the first two verses that he had printed on fabric to make for people. Everybody remembers the rock, paper, scissors saddle. Got some of that sushi fabric that he picked out in the beginning, as well as the jellyfish fabric that he picked out. We've got the grunge stars and stripes that he is currently rocking. This verse right here is the very first fabric that August had printed ever. It's where we started with our fabric company, and it's been golden ever since. Working our way around, we have that green camel leather. I think you guys got to see that one. This down here is a cave drawing that August created, and then we just decided to slap a little bit of that beaver fur on there. Working it around. August was one of the very first ones to do the Paul Bunyan saddle, so we had to put that guy on there. And another little sushi guy, because they're cute. So, he's pretty stoked about using that guy. You'll probably see it in some future videos. So, guys, we can customize just about anything. So, give us a call. Let us know what you're looking for. Happy climbing!